when I was younger, I found that it was so natural for me to take sides with Momo, the daughter, and to treat the mother as a villain. But now, if I write and publish the sequel, I find that I will take sides with the mother. But now I'm old enough, I'm much older, and from time to time I feel, okay, maybe my parents and I do not get along enough, not yet, but I feel sympathetic already.
You're watching Connected Sidelines, coming to you from the heart of Taipei, a show in which we get personal on news and issues that connect us all in Taiwan and around the world. I'm Tomasz Koper.
And I'm Billie Sweetman.
Now, the year is 2100. Humans have colonized the ocean floor to escape a climate crisis which renders the surface of our planet uninhabitable. The boundary between human and machine is blurred, if not altogether erased, and front and center, a reclusive transgender skincare technician with a secret. Does this sound like the next hit streaming series? Well, maybe, but I am actually describing the premise of The Membranes, a classic of Taiwanese speculative queer fiction, which this year celebrates its 30th anniversary here in Taiwan, although its English translation was only published in 2021. And in the studio with us is the novel's author, writer, and scholar, Chi Ta-wei. Now, before we begin the discussion, a little disclaimer. We understand this may be the first time some of our viewers and listeners come into contact with the book. So to avoid spoiling the story, we've chosen to leave out certain plot points. If you want to know what they are, we encourage you to have a go and read the book. Now, Ta-wei, it's a great pleasure to have you here in the studio. I want to start with maybe a pretty general question, just to get our viewers and listeners familiar with your work. The protagonist, Momo, is a loner, but at the same time, a bit of a celebrity skincare technician, a dermatologist, which is a valued profession in the world of your book, of your story, because the sun, the rays of the sun have become deadly because of the ozone layer. At age 10, Momo undergoes a surgery during which her ailing organs are replaced with those of Andy, her tailor-made synthetic analog, who is also her best friend. Now, after the procedure, Momo wakes up in a differently gendered body. Plenty of layered themes there or membranes, if you will. Starting with the blurring of boundaries between the biological and the technological. Now, besides Andy, we meet other humanoids in the story. We get to know one of them better than most of the other human characters. What were you trying to say about the relationship between humans and what was called in the English translation cyborgs, or more broadly speaking, synthetic humans?
I feel it's like a magic that my novel is being reread by so many people from different cultures. And yes, from time to time, people ask me why I was motivated to write a story like this. This question will throw me back to the 1990s, when I was still a college student. And I was trying to figure out my sexuality, and I was dating a guy in college who happened to study the broken ozone. I really wanted to get something from this guy. This guy was poor, and he never bought me dinners, and I always had to buy dinners for him. And so I think I had to get some idea from him and then turn it into a story or even a novel. So that's the starting point.
Sounds better than a dinner to me.
Yeah. I was in college. I went to college in Taipei in the 90s. And Taipei in the 90s was very different from it is now. Nowadays, you know that the subway station, the subway system, the buses, and so on are very convenient in Taipei. And your studio, the studio where we are in, is very close to a major subway station. But in the 90s, there was none. The traffic in Taipei was horrible in the 90s. I and other young people had to rely on motorcycles. And you know that motorcycles in Taiwan, they are still everywhere. You can imagine that the motorcycles can be out of service, out of order easily. So I had to bring my motorcycle to the repair shop from time to time. And I witnessed how the technicians opened the shell of my motorcycle. And I was impressed from time to time, actually very often, that my motorcycle, after being removed its shell, looked like a human body or the corpse of human body. Maybe many of you are familiar with the paintings by the British painter Francis Bacon. And Francis Bacon is known for his paintings of human corpse. I was reminded of Francis Bacon very often when I witnessed how my motorcycle was dismembered by technicians. That's also major reason why I was so interested in the division, or not really division, the difference and the similarity between the human and the machine.
That's fascinating. Wow. I think because Momo does straddle the boundary between robot and human, but she also straddles the boundary of gender. And it strikes me reading the book that even though the word transgender never comes up, but of course you were trying to explore gender in the book as well. What specifically about gender were you wanting to explore?
I think that I am very lucky to be found by my translator, Professor Ari Heinrich. And when he proposed to translate the novel many years ago, certainly I was honored, I was grateful, but I didn't take it seriously because I think that I couldn't imagine English readers in general would be interested in the book. His insistence of translating the book certainly inspired me to ask him why he wanted to put so much energy on this project when he was already a very busy transgender scholar in California. And he told me...
So he was transgender himself?
Yeah. And before the project of translating the Remembrance, he was busy translating Qiu Miaojing's novel. Maybe you know that Qiu Miaojing might be the one of the most famous queer writers from Taiwan. In fact, before translating Qiu Miaojing's novel, Ari was a woman. And Ari decided to choose the gender he preferred in the process of translating Qiu Miaojing's novel. And after that, Qiu Miaojing's translation was a surprise success in the market. And because of success, he wanted to translate another novel from Taiwan on the topic of transgender. And he saw that the book has a lot to do with the transgender topic. So I was very surprised.
That's amazing you're surprised because it seems...
very natural?
Yes, yeah. To me and so many other readers, yeah.
I cannot thank him enough because his confidence and his trust and his devotion to the project, and not only to the book, but also to me as a friend, because now we become close friends. I really find that, over the past years, I was renewing my understanding of the transgender lives, and thanks to him.
Well, I think other than transgender or how people see transgender topics in the book, it covers a lot of other queer issues. Like, for example, Momo's mother and Tomoko are described as friends or special friends, which I think we can see that they're a bit more than friends, probably. So what was Taiwan like for queer people in the mid-90s, and how did that affect the decisions you made as a storyteller?
Because the 1990s was so special, I think, in Taiwan was so special to many different people, including me. And so I had to choose certain strategies when I was developing the story of the membranes. For instance, in the 90s, I was trying to come out as a queer person. That's why I chose to write the novel as a science fiction title instead of work of realism. Actually, before The Membranes, I already published several stories which depicted gay man's life in more realistic way. And some nosy people would ask me, "Oh, Ta-wei, did you really do that? Did you really
Is this inspired by real life?"
go to those mysterious venues?" And I was so fed up. So I chose to move to science fiction. I wanted to write something queer, but I didn't want to be watched all the time. So I chose science fiction. And many readers also noticed that most of the characters in the novel are female. In the 90s in Taiwan, we knew that in the field of science fiction, most of the protagonists are men instead of women. And women are so marginalized in science fiction, whether in films or in literary titles. So I chose to focus on women instead of men. So this is my official answer. But there are some unofficial answers. For instance, I was more interested in women's lives instead of men's lives.
Really? How so?
Perhaps it's not too bizarre to you because we know that some gay men only hang out with other gay men. But there are also certain gay men who prefer to hang out with women because they feel that there's too much competition when they hang out with gay guys. And we also know that many straight women feel comfortable when they go to gay bars instead of straight bars. So I think that certainly there is some boundary crossing here as well. Not in a radical way, but it's something to do with a person's personality, temperament. When I was a teenager and when I was in college, I really hang out with female classmates more than boys because maybe boys made me nervous and excited, maybe. So it felt so natural for me to focus on women, and I felt relaxed when I pay attention to women. Not because I desire them, but because I feel relaxed with them.
Well, you chose the genre of science fiction, even though science fiction, at least to me, and I'm a big fan of science fiction, doesn't seem to be very sort of mainstream popular in Taiwan. Do you think that science fiction resonates well with Taiwanese audiences?
Taiwanese people are strongly influenced by popular cultures from two countries, the United States and Japan. And whenever they want to watch science fiction movies or science fiction TV shows, they will turn to the United States. When they want to read animation, manga, they turn to Japan. Maybe sometimes nowadays, maybe they can turn to Korea as well. But basically, science fiction as literature is not their priority. It's true that in Taiwan, science fiction, especially science fiction by local writers, is not as popular as it could be in other countries. And that's also why I have been surprised time and again when my book is translated in various languages and celebrated by readers in different cultures. For instance, the book is also available in Finnish. In 2025, it was chosen by the book lovers in Finland as their favorite title for the year 2024. And the book is also available in many other countries, and so this is the Portuguese edition. And I visited Lisbon because of the book too.
There are some things that you couldn't foresee. For example, the explosion in popularity around the world of your book. But there are some things that you seem to have gotten right. Something that struck me as, well, inappropriate behavior from one of the characters in the book, but very prophetic, was the fact that Momo, the dermatologist, was collecting private, very, very intimate information on her clients. And this is probably was more shocking for readers in 1996 than it is for readers in 2026, when we are more used to, companies and, the likes of, let's say, Facebook and Google collecting massive amounts of information, or even knowing more about us than we do ourselves. Do you feel that since the time you wrote this book, we have normalized this blurring of this boundary between the private, the membrane, as you will, between the private and the public selves, the public image?
It's true that the membranes indeed depicts the awful act of data collection without consent. But when I mentioned this in my novel in the 90s, I knew it was possible, but I didn't know that it would be so disastrous as we experience today. I say that it was possible because in the 90s, I saw that for the characters in the novel to steal data from their clients or people they admire, they desire, is something similar to our reading diaries of our partners without consent. We already knew that it's horrible and wrong to read your partner or wife or husband's diary without consent. But it happened all the time. With the rise of smartphones, we also know that when you are dating somebody, you really should not to check his or her or their messages without consent. But it happens all the time as well. So I think that the supposedly minor evils were imaginable, but I couldn't imagine that it would become so horrible with such a huge scale.
No, definitely. I think it's all this data collection that we see now it's so driven by social media. And by chatbots, and it's all being done for profit. Which is I don't know. It's
well, at least Momo was doing it to better understand her clients and to help them.
Like algorithm.
Yes, at least Momo had a personal touch in there.
So another theme that I found very interesting in your book is this theme of colonizing the ocean, the ocean floor. So the one term that I think both of us thought of was settler colonialism. Was that something that was going through your mind when you were writing? And is it going through your mind now as people read this again in 2026?
Thank you for the question and for the keyword. It's a crucial keyword, settler colonialism. I'm a college teacher and I read about settler colonialism and I found that it's so relevant to my novel. But my novel is not critical enough. And then I think that if I have any chance in the future, I need to talk about it.
Is it about the world being different now to how it was 30 years ago?
I'm trying to develop a sequel to the novel. In the sequel, I definitely need to talk about the unethical decision of a settler colonialism in membranes.
On that note, since you are developing a continuation to the story, what are you doing differently? What do you want to frame differently compared to 30 years ago with the sequel?
I have a lot to share, but I don't know if we have enough time.
Well, we can't spoil.
Recently, I saw a Norwegian film, Sentimental Value, which is highly acclaimed and very popular in European countries, but also popular among some art house movie lovers in Taiwan. And when I saw the movie, which focuses on the tangent between a father and two daughters, I was stunned to find that the story is somehow similar to the membranes. later on, I realized that I did not overthink. The reason is the Norwegian film is also very similar to the Swedish director Ingmar Bergman's films, including Autumn Sonata. The fact that the Autumn Sonata is mentioned in the members implies that I was influenced by Ingmar Bergman's movies as well. And the Autumn Sonata is a film about the tension between a very talented mother and her frustrated daughter. Okay,
I see the parallel. Yes.
Yeah. And that when I was writing the membranes, in the beginning, I was not thinking about Ingmar Bergman's movies, but when I was developing the middle of the novel, naturally.
So what kind of themes would you cast or frame differently this time?
Okay. When I was younger, I found that it was so natural for me to take sides with Momo, the daughter, and to treat the mother as a villain. But now, if I write and publish the sequel, I find that I will take sides with the mother. 30 years ago, when I was complaining about the parent in the novel, naturally, I was thinking about my own parents. But now I'm old enough, I'm much older, and from time to time I feel, okay, maybe my parents and I do not get along enough, not yet, but I feel sympathetic already.
It's interesting because I didn't get the impression that the mother was unequivocally the villain of the story. Especially the ending, which again, we don't want to spoil for the viewers. But casts her as a very different character than what we see through Momo's eyes early
I think,
in
yes,
the book.
for most of the book, Momo is really angry with her, and the mother is seen as a baddie.
It didn't occur to me that the mother is a villain. But I learned this interpretation from readers from different countries. And many of them enjoy book, but hate the mother. So I think, I should do something for the mother. It doesn't seem fair to interpret the mother this way. So I will do something for the mother in the sequel.
I think something that I have wondered about personally is, well, because people read the novel and see Momo as trans, but I think we can do better than just applying the label of trans, because the transgender experience for so many people involves, or being outwardly trans-presenting at least, involves conscious choice. And Momo had none of that. She woke up one day and the doctors had done their thing. And she had a different body, which to me sounds much more like the intersex experience, where you're born with a body that doesn't necessarily fit into the male or female categories, and doctors might operate on you as an unconsenting child. So
it's great that you bring up the differences, maybe subtle or maybe huge differences between intersex and the transgender. I have to say that when I was writing the novel, basically I rely on instinct. However, I think it's great that we can talk about the differences between intersex and the transgender. Maybe I can do it better in the sequel. But I have something personal to share as well. After publication of the edition, some memory came back to me, and I confessed to my translator, Professor Ari Heinrich, who is a transgender person, that when I was a teenager, actually, the idea of gender reassignment happened to me as well. Because I was so confused when I was a teenager. It was in the 80s. And basically, people in Taiwan in the 80s didn't get sufficient sex education. And sometimes I was thinking, maybe it would be better for me if I became a woman to fall in love with guys. And probably I was also waiting for some medical intervention in a passive way, but this thought was only transient. So when I was in college, the idea just disappeared, but I suspect that it was lingering when I was writing the novel.
Do you think you used the character of Momo to explore that, maybe?
In the 20s, I started to find my boyfriend, and I was busy experiencing becoming a gay man. And later on, I flew to the United States to study and also to explore gay life there. So I totally forgot that for a while when I was a teenager, I thought about the possibility of being transgender. But I forgot that until recently, until the publication of the English edition. And I find that, yes, that's also one reason why I might need to write a sequel, because I have to redress this in the sequel. I needed the opportunity.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading the sequel, because there are so many threads and so many other areas of this world that are worth exploring.
Thank you.
So good luck with that. And thank you, Ta-wei, for being with us in the studio today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to our viewers and listeners, I'm curious, what hidden gems of speculative and science fiction from your language or your part of the world would you recommend? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, also do check out our main show Connected on TaiwanPlus. You can find us on our YouTube channel and the TaiwanPlus website. I'm Tomasz Koper.
And I'm Billie Sweetman. We'll talk to you next time.